Hello, everybody. Welcome to another KMU Pod live podcast tonight with me, Ricky Tabruggi, your host, and my co-host, Derek Rutherford, down there in Elkhart. How you doing down there, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. Just doing my usual day off stuff and getting ready for the show. Made my weekly trip to the laundromat and got that out of the way. It's been all kinds of fun.
We go to the laundromat too. I bought a washer and dryer when we moved into this house, but the washer's been acting up, so we just go to the laundromat, and Stephanie goes more than me,
Yeah.
but it's not so bad. We got DF in the house. We got double T.
Did you get those crazy winds last night?
It was all day yesterday, man.
Yeah, defer.
Like I usually go to work. I'm supposed to be there by 8, but I usually get there like 8:30, 9. But I got there like at 10:30. But the main reason I woke the night not last night, but the night before, I woke up at like 4 a.m. and just puked. I just got sick, and then I went to sleep, and then I woke up and I was decided to go to work a little late and sleep in, and I ended up feeling better. But yeah, those winds were crazy. The door at work kept blasting open. I thought it was going to shatter. I was kind of just laughing though. I was like, "This is crazy."
Originally, they were talking like we were going to get like a lot of rain and heavy wind, and then it was supposed to be a blizzard, and the blizzard part never materialized. I don't think we got much rain either.
I think they got like tornadoes on the East Coast today.
Did it?
I think so. I don't know. I was strolling through YouTube live videos today, and there was some guy that was watching the news, and it looked like North Carolina and Virginia were getting some like severe weather today.
I guess Oklahoma had quite a few tornadoes a couple days ago.
I'm not sure. It's been crazy, man. Like yesterday the wind was so bad that people were like getting angry. Like people were just, I could tell like a lot of my coworkers were just annoyed. We had a bunch of people in the group chat that I'm in that got like kind of annoyed that we're all in that wind and stuff, man. It's a lot of violence.
Lost the fence.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence in that way, man. I think I work in Hugoton, and Stephanie told me that right south of Hugoton yesterday it got up to 93 miles an hour.
Yeah, my brother says Oklahoma and Texas both got tornadoes yesterday. Yeah. And Christopher Hughes says tornado in Oklahoma for sure 2 days ago. So the last couple of days, I guess it's been busy tornado-wise in Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's business as usual. No, I think it's is it I don't know much. I wish Norm was here. He could tell me. I feel like it's not. It's too early in the season for tornadoes.
I don't know. I see up there Defer said she saw a terrible YouTube video last night. What was that terrible video?
Yeah, what was that? In 2017 or 18, I think it was 17, March 31st, there was a huge blizzard in Garden City. Me and Stephanie went and filmed the next day, all the destruction of all the trees that snapped and everything.
Yeah.
So I think we're in that part of the year where it doesn't know what to do. There might be a tornado, there might be a blizzard, might be a windstorm.
Ada, Oklahoma caught the brunt of a tornado. Ooh.
I feel like I should know where Ada, Oklahoma is, but I don't think I do. Rodney says it's that time of year. You got to expect it. Yup.
LC's had terrible vibes too. Chris says a perfect condition for advanced tornado development.
Well, when those winds were going on 93 miles an hour yesterday, that's the only thing I kept thinking of. I was like, man, there's got to be like a tornado attached to that by Oklahoma City. And then also today I get to work. I got there like at 8:30 today, and like around like 9:50, maybe I don't know. I think 9:15, 9:30, their tornado siren went off in Hugo. But it was beautiful today. I drove in today, and there was no wind, no clouds. You could tell it was going to be a decently warm day. But it kind of made me think. I was like, damn, dude, that wind was blowing like 90 miles an hour yesterday, and now the tornado sirens are going off.
Wow. I think ours topped out at 65 miles an hour, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I kind of got to push out some van yesterday when I got off work. The wind was kind of pushing me to the van.
It's not good, man. It's not good at all. Well, we got a ton of cases to cover. We're going to go ahead and get into it. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved. We'll be right back after this.
Part 1. Cold cases, stories left untold, families seeking answers, and justice waiting in the shadows. Together, we uncover the truth.
All right. And we're going to lead it off with Dietrich Foster. Sorry to say Derek Foster. Whoa, boy. Dietrich Foster, missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12, 2020. He's 37 when he went missing. He's now 42. 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12, 2020. He was last seen around April 12, 2020. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. It's never been disclosed what kind of findings those were. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 37. He's now 42. 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Has a scar on his chest from heart surgery, a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Desjardins on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And there is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So let's see what we can do to, get that information in and see if we can't help get him located and back to where he needs to be.
There's a Facebook page dedicated to that case. There's a lot of information on there that we would probably never say on this show, but definitely worth checking out if you're somebody who likes to deep dive on these cases on Facebook and everything. There's quite a bit of stuff on there. Ada is southeast of Oklahoma City. I think there's a town right by Elkhart, Ado or Adel, something. That's how I always think they're saying, but I'm like, there's no way. I live my life in Kansas, been through a bunch of them.
Wow.
What's up, ladies? Ricky and Derek.
Hey,
Hope was on her way to the studio, and she had a friend that needed some help, so she had to take off and help them. She'll be back next week, she said. Christopher Unruh in the house, Laura Thomas in the house.
I'll tell you, the closest I've ever, well, actually, I did see one funnel cloud, not an actual tornado on the ground, but funnel cloud. I'd been off work for a little bit. This has been, I can't remember what year. I want to say 2013. I don't know if that's right. I was off work because I had a stress fracture in my left foot. And I was sitting on my couch in my living room and I had my police scanner going and the weather spotters come on. And this was in October. Okay. This was in the month of October. And weather spotters all of a sudden pop up on the scanner and they say, okay, we got a funnel cloud going north over East Crawford. And I'm like, I live on East Crawford. So I got up off the couch and I had a boot on my foot where my stress fracture was at and hobbled out the door, down the stairs, and down the sidewalk, across the parking lot, and up to the curb. I looked to my right, and there goes the funnel cloud. So we're going over it looks like it was a little bit further east of the convenience store, a block down. Okay, my brother said 2015. And I snapped a couple pictures of it, and it was really cool. And then I got back into my apartment after that and sat back down, and I sat there, and I was like, I just went out there and took pictures of a doggone funnel cloud. What was I thinking? But I thought it was pretty cool.
What year were you born?
1967.
Okay. Well, I don't know. It says there was a massive tornado in Salina in 1973.
That might have been the one that I slept through. My mom told me about one that I slept through. That might have been. I would have been 73. I would have been about 6 years old, 5-6 years old, depending on the month.
That's a pretty scary looking picture.
Yeah, it is. That looks like that on the south end of town by that water tower out there by Belmont and Magnolia is what that looked like.
Your brother said it was 2015. D first says, I've seen 4 tornadoes outside of my house in Kansas one year. That was scary. They were little though. Hope y'all are doing well. And so I am really afraid. I was talking to Raven today about tornadoes because she said she got that wind yesterday. And I told her, she's like, when I was a kid, I was scared of tornadoes. When I was a kid, whenever there would be clouds, I would puke. I would hyperventilate and get sick and have to go outside and puke. Just so afraid of tornadoes as a kid. It was so scary.
Right. Oh man, it wasn't just a funnel cloud. That was a tornado on the ground. You snapped those. It looked like it was in the air to me. I don't know. Let's see if I can find my pictures.
Double T says 73 was the big one that took out Sundowner East.
Yeah.
Them too. I'm not so scared of storms anymore. Like, well, if I don't have a basement or something, I'm scared. But if I'm like in a safe area, if I'm far enough away from a tornado, I can kind of look at it and not be crazy, freaked out by it. But as a kid, it really freaked me out. The town I got The town I live in now got taken out by a tornado in Halloween back in 2001. Dang. 73 was the year I was out of high school. Dang, I'm old. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Rodney Brad. Let's go ahead and talk about Alexander Perez. Like, I have not gotten any updates other than his name was taken off that docket of that trial that's going on in Garden City.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Hopefully they can get some evidence together and get that back on the docket, hopefully. So Alexander Perez, missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. Was 35 when he was missing. He's now 39. 5'11" and 235 pounds, black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. And I called a family member on the phone on December 1st and said he would be coming to their home to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He'd been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It is believed that Alexander may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City, Kansas area, or at least we hope so, or surrounding areas. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 39, 5'11", and 235 pounds. Black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. Has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500. Or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be. Again, any information you have, no matter how small you think it is or irrelevant it is, call it in anyway and let the investigators decide if that's something that they may need that could be of help to them. You just never know.
Yeah.
You just never know. Just never know.
145 missing children in Kansas, 356 adults.
Yep.
Double T says Sundown East is a mobile home park just east of Salina.
Right. I remember that place.
Queenie's going.
Haven't been out that way in a long time, but Queenie. Have a good night, Queenie.
Oh, you remember Janine, who used to be on this show? 2020.
Who?
Janine. She used to be on this show. She was on that Good Morning Garden City. I mean, that Growing Garden City show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's probably going to be helping us out starting next week. She was curious if we could do the show an hour earlier. I told her I'd bring it up to you tonight, so you don't have to answer now. But she wants to come back and help us behind the scenes or on camera, whatever. But she was just wondering if we could do it at 8 o'clock on Wednesdays instead. Down the road a little ways in Lebo. Hopefully, he's been on here so long. Hopefully, it gets solved soon. Are most of these assumed to be bodies that haven't been found yet, as assumed someone who's chosen for whatever reason to disappear?
Here's a real quick picture of that funnel cloud I took a picture of in 2015. That's the Quick Shop convenience store that's a block down from my house. Yeah. That sucker was going right over there. And I was like, okay. Yeah, it was. It's cool. I've always wanted to see one. You know, I'd never seen one up to that point in person, except for one when I was about, I was a kid. We were going to Junction City one time when I was a kid, and my dad spotted a funnel cloud coming out of the clouds and decided to pull over and check it out. My mom was having a fit, trying to get it back in the car and get us moving. It was funny. My dad was like that, though. He'd make sure when the tornado sirens went off, make sure we were all in the basement. He'd go outside and try to find it. Okay. This is Jonathan. This is Jonathan Jensen, missing from Kerwin, Kansas on June 14th, 2023. 52 when he was missing. He's now 54. 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. His daughter does tell me that he does tend to he has mental health issues and does tend to have episodes. Again, he was 52 when he was missing. He's now 54. 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-543-6885 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Jonathan located and back to where he needs to be. Now keep hoping she'll pop back in the comments sometime.
Yeah, she's been here quite a few times. Usually she'll show up towards the end of the show. We might want to move his towards like the end of the first segment just in case she shows up.
Yeah.
Christopher Hughes wanted us to cover this a few weeks ago, and we've covered it. I think this will be the second or third time, but this is a case me and Ricky covered when we first started the show in 2020, and obviously still need answers in this one for sure.
Right, definitely. Charles Everett McHenry III, missing from Great Bend, Kansas since May 6, 2016. Was 27 when he was missing. He's now 36, 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair, black eyes. Last known to be driving an unknown make two-door black car away from a house in the 500 block of Northwest 20 Avenue between Hoisington and Great Bend. And he was 27 when he went missing. He's now 36, 6'2", 180 pounds, black hair, black eyes. Last known to be wearing a black t-shirt and denim shorts. He has tattoos on his left arm. One is of the cross and it says Tyler along the side of it there. On his upper arm, and an eagle with the flag on the lower arm. And you can see the pictures of them up there at the top. Let's see here. His eyebrow and left ear are pierced. Has a scar near his left knee. A scar on his right arm from the elbow to the wrist. A scar on right knee, a scar on the forehead, scars on both sides of his ribs, a scar on the bottom of his left foot, and a dimple dip in his left bicep. Has a plate in his right arm from his elbow to his wrist and 2 screws in his left knee. If you have any information regarding Charles's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can't do to help get Charles located and back to where he needs to be. This here we're going on, 9 years this year? Yeah, 9 years.
He's a big dude, 6'2".
Yeah, 6'2", 180.
The majority of Americans are not over 6 foot.
I'm not. I'm under.
Ricky's 4'7".
No, 5'6", and 5'6" and a quarter. Last time I went to the doctor, I shrunk a quarter inch.
You're 5'6" and a quarter. I tell people I'm 6 foot. We just went to the DMV to get our license changed. I'm like 5'11" and just about. I'm like right under 6 foot. But the lady at the DMV, she's like, "We can just put 6 foot if you want." I was like, "Well, obviously we're gonna put 6 foot." In case any ladies see this driver's license, you know what I mean? Megan Fogel song. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, just recently worked her back into the show because it's been a while and I wanted to cover her some more. Megan Renee Fogel song, missing from Alden, Kansas since December 2015. Was 21 when she was missing. She's now 31, 5'4", 150 pounds, sandy blonde hair and green eyes. Her last activity on Facebook was November 30th, 2015. There was an unconfirmed sighting around Christmas time 2015 at Guy's Liquor Store in Larned, which, come to find out, the sighting was reported by a friend of Megan's. So, and my understanding was she got a little confused at the time of the year and turned out to be Thanksgiving of that year, not Christmas. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 21. She'd now be 31, 5'4", weighs about 150 pounds. Her weight does fluctuate. She has sandy blonde hair that she does dye occasionally, and she has green eyes. She wears glasses but does have contact lenses. She has a tattoo on her left hip of a flower design. And you can see it up there on the far right there. Also has a tattoo on her left wrist of a heart design that says thick, thin, and it also has the infinity in the middle of that heart there. And she has a tattoo on her upper right chest. Both are pictured above, second photo from the right, which it looks like another infinity type tattoo on her chest there. She also has a tattoo on her outer left calf of a dream catcher, and I've never been able to find a photo of that one. If I can get one, I'll add it. If you have any information regarding Megan's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Rice County, Kansas Sheriff's Department at 620-257-7876 or 620-257-2363 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't hopefully help find her and get her back home to where she needs to be. The only person that was the only person that I've known about this person of interest is no longer living. He, for some reason, gathered up a bunch of guns and ammo and put them in a clothes basket, threw it in the car with his girlfriend and her child, and went to his dad's house and shot and killed his dad. And sheriff's department, everybody arrived and tried to get him to surrender, and instead he turned the gun on himself. And so, yeah, he's no longer with us. So, and I'm hoping and praying there's somebody out there that he may have mentioned something to about what he had done, but I don't know. I mean, he did make the comment to somebody that nobody has to worry about Megan anymore, whatever that's supposed to mean. But he did make that comment to somebody at some point. So let's see what we can do to get her found and brought back home, no matter how small of a tip you may have or how little information you may have. Get it to the sheriff's department so they can determine, if it's something they need to know or not. That's all I can't stress that enough to please do that. I was reading over there in the comments, my brother and those godless tornadoes, that comes from WKRP in Cincinnati sitcom from back in the early 80s. That was a hilarious episode. I like that show. Might have to partake in some of that after the show.
I asked AI here real quick. It says that and again, this is just some theories that AI said that it's pulled from online. It says some theories say that Madden disposed her remains in the Arkansas River. Have you ever heard that at all? And I don't know like where the Arkansas River is compared to where she went missing.
No, I had never heard that one before, but it's the Arkansas River. But yeah,
okay.
I have not heard that one before. That would be interesting. I've heard people talk about wells and everything else, but never the river.
Okay, and then also it says that and I'm sure the police know this, but it says that there were definitely that he had been sending her threatening messages, and she had been texting other people saying she feared for her life because of him.
Yeah.
And then it said that other women said that he was abusive and made threatening remarks to them.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of I think why in 2017 he kind of got everybody looking at him.
Yeah. Yeah, she had made the comment to somebody that if she ever disappeared, that he would be the culprit. So
that Arkansas River is that like a mighty river, like what does that look like?
I never actually have looked at it before. I'm not sure.
Because I've seen the Mississippi River, which you throw something in there, you're never gonna find it again. But then like you see like a river like around these parts, sometimes they don't even have water in it; it's just sand beds, So I'm just wondering. How much water is actually in the Arkansas River?
Hey, Kent, how you doing? And then I see Rodney Cox made a comment down there. It says, never ceases to amaze me what humans are capable of. And I mean that in a negative way, obviously. Yeah, no doubt. I just was reading about a case. I think the young lady was 14 years old that had gone missing. She was indigenous. And they just recently found her remains dismembered and in trash bags.
Yikes.
Yeah. Terrible. 14 years old. I cannot imagine what she could have done that would have warranted somebody doing that. I just don't get it. But yeah, this is Herman Pitts, missing from Hutchinson, Kansas since June 26, 2024. Was 56 when he went missing, now 57, 6'1", 180 pounds, black and gray hair, possibly bald. You can see about photos of him with hair, without hair, with facial hair, without facial hair. He's last known to be in the Salina, Kansas area, but he may also be in the Manhattan, Kansas area. Again, he was 56 when he was missing. He's now 57. Black and gray hair, but it's known to shave his head bald and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Herman's disappearance, his whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department. It's 620-694-2800 with a KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can help get him located and back to where he needs to be. Yeah, L, definitely horrible. Like I said, I couldn't imagine what a 14-year-old would have done to warranted that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't believe that. Dismembered and in trash bags. Wish I could think of what her name is. It escapes me at the moment.
What town?
Man, I can't remember. It escapes me. I'm gonna have to look it up again. Leonardo Allende Flores. This is one I just recently did. Missing from Kansas City, Kansas since December 11th, 2023. Was 21 when he went missing. Now 22. He was he's 5'8", 130 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. His car was found at a store parking lot near Caw Point Park. His phone and wallet were left in the vehicle. Again, he was 21 when he went missing. He's now 22. 5'8", 130 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He does wear eyeglasses. His ears are pierced, and he has a red birthmark on his upper thigh. So if you have any information regarding Leonardo's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Wyandotte County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 913-573-2861 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to help Leonardo, get him found and back to where he needs to be. That's been over a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Over a year.
Because evil walks among us every day.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. I mean, you figure you have these unsolved homicides and stuff like that go on that haven't been unsolved in years and years. And yeah, definitely. You got evil walking among us when these killers aren't being caught. I'm going to punch up on my little phone here and see if I can find out that young lady's name again and where that happened at. Oops, I spelled the thing right. Okay. Down in Arizona is actually where it was.
Arizona. Okay.
Yeah, Mesa, Arizona.
That's right where I used to live, like about 45 minutes away from where I used to live in North Phoenix.
Yeah. Get off of there. Her name was, let's see, what is her name? She's 14. Emily Pike. Went missing in late January. We found dead on February 14th off US 60 northeast of Globe. Yep. There's another one, Bryce Harrison Williams. He's missing out of Kansas City, Kansas since February 17th, 2025. 20 years old, 5'7", 147 pounds, brown hair, green eyes. He may wear eyeglasses. If you have any information regarding Bryce's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see what we can do to get Bryce found and back to where he needs to be. Yep.
Jordan, yes. Looks like he just went missing a few days ago.
Yeah, just made this one recently. He's missing from Olathe, Kansas since March 3rd, 2025. He's 37, 5'7", 175 pounds, bald and brown eyes. And was last seen driving a silver Honda Odyssey with Kansas license plate 056 RRA, which has since been located in Lewisburg, Kansas, which is in Miami County, on the northbound 69 highway near exit 247. He's listed as endangered due to statements of self-harm. And he's 37, 5'7", weighs 175 pounds, bald and brown eyes. He does have a beard. Last seen wearing a green Columbia coat and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding Jordan's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Departat 913-971-6363 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or 296-4017 to see if we can get him located and back to his family. Last look, his flyer has been now shared over 1,100 times last I checked.
You're checking that right now?
I'm looking at some other stuff too. I was reading some more about the 14-year-old girl that said they found her, doggone it, her head and her torso in large contractor bags, and the legs were found in separate bags. And I'm not mistaken, they did not find her hands or arms. If I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to confirm that. Yeah, here it is. However, they could not find her arms and hands. So I don't know if whoever did that was thinking maybe if they made those disappear, they wouldn't be able to ID her, but they tend to forget about DNA and dental records and all that good stuff. So, that's terrible. Just terrible. But let me look at Olathe real quick and see. Last check was they were out doing some searches for him. The police department was and stuff, and they hadn't located him yet. Let's see. Their last update was, come on, man. The last update was Jordan's vehicle was located in Miami, northbound 69 highway near exit 247. His whereabouts were still unknown. I knew they were doing some searches in the area for him, trying to see if they could locate him, but hadn't found him yet. So I'm hoping to hear more. My brother's asking, is that case unsolved? Are you referring to the 14-year-old girl down in Arizona? We'll have to dig into it deeper and see if there's any kind of indication of any suspects or anything. And if not, I may just have to go ahead and do an unsolved homicide flyer for her.
Yeah. Stay dialed in here. We got a lot of show left. Real quick, some sad news. We're up to 146 missing children in the state of Kansas. We had another one filed. Ricky's gonna have a flyer to make when we're done. Tell us about Jordan. We just did Jordan, yes, correct? Okay.
Yes, we just did Jordan Yost.
Gail Adele Lightly Sorensen.
Yeah, this is an unsolved homicide out of Hutchinson, Kansas. On February 11, 1977, Gail A. Sorensen left work to run some errands for her employer. After she did not return to work, her coworkers became concerned and notified her husband, who then reported her missing. Later that evening, Gail's vehicle was found in the Dillon's parking lot at 734 East 4th in Hutchinson. A witness who was later interviewed said she observed a vehicle in the Dillon's parking lot that is believed to have been Gail's. She said that she had observed a woman sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle and an unknown white man standing outside of the driver's door talking to the driver. She said both were laughing and she assumed they knew each other. This unknown man was described as 26 to 28 years old, 5'10" to 6 foot, with shaggy brown hair, which was about collar length or longer. He was described as wearing wireframe glasses with brown lenses, a red stocking cap, and he had a mustache and goatee. Several days later, Gail's body was discovered southeast of Hutchinson along the Arkansas River, the levee there. Her throat had been slashed and she had been sexually assaulted. Police are puzzled as to how the killer gained access to that area since the fence prevented vehicles from entering, and officers had to break a padlock to gain entry. Her body could be seen from the other side of the river. However, fresh motorcycle tracks were found on the opposite side. The bank deposits that she had were never made. Gail only had $300 in cash on the deposits. The rest was $1,800 in checks. Her purse was noted to be missing. Her investigators also note that several years prior, they investigated 2 cases in which a man accosted a woman in a parking lot with a knife at a discount store. In one case, a man sexually assaulted a woman after forcing her to drive her car to a rural area. The second case, the man was frightened away by another motorist. The FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit was asked to construct a profile after graffiti was found in a nearby Hutchinson Cessna Fluid Products plant in May, as well as a random caller contacting the local radio station and having a 3-hour conversation with the host. However, police and KBI have not discussed the connections. If you have any information regarding Gail's murder, please call the Reno County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-694-2735 or 620-694-2800, or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463, or to remain anonymous, call 620-694-2666 or 800-222-8477. And see if we can't get Gail and her family and her husband justice for her. She definitely deserves it. Been a long time.
Yeah, I'd never heard about that case. One of my mods told me about it. She's from that area, and she was saying that she stumbled across it and stuff. There's a lot of when you made me admin of the KMU page, it shows me like a lot more Facebook groups and stuff. There's a lot of there's so many cases, man.
Oh, I know it. There are. And this is Haley Davis. She's missing from here in Salina, Kansas since July 21st of 2023. Getting close to that 2-year mark. She was 19 when she was missing. She's now 20. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde and blue eyes. She left Salina, Kansas with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st, 2023. And she was 19 when she was missing. She's now 20. 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. And as you can see, she does sometimes wear eyeglasses. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4407 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Haley located and back home to her family. I know she's got family members, her brother, her aunt, and I'm sure countless other friends and stuff as well that are just really wanting to know where she's at and what happened to her and wanting her to come home. And I know she's got a little boy that's missing her terribly. So again, any information you have, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant or unimportant you might think it might be, call it in anyway and let the police decide whether that's something they need or not. It's the best thing to do. So please do that if you know anything at all. Are you muted?
No, I'm here. I was just switching your flyers. I'm running some.
I thought you were muted there for a second.
No, I'm just running some banners back here. Everybody share the show. We have a lot of people watching. We're on a bunch of platforms tonight. You can watch on my YouTube page, Ricky's YouTube page, my Facebook page, Kansas Missing and Unsolved on Facebook. Definitely follow and like that page and share as many flyers as you see every day. Go ahead and go about Catherine Adam.
Yeah, she's missing from here in Salina, Kansas. I kind of rearranged the order of the flyers to where all the Salina, Kansas cold cases were all together. But anyway, missing from Salina, Kansas since April 29th, 1993. 35 when she was missing. She's now 67, 5'4", 120 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Last seen at 4:30 in the morning on April 29th, 1993 at the Quick Shop convenience store in the 1700 block of West Crawford. In Salina, Kansas. She drove a full-size Ford van with "She Has Legs" written on the sides. Her van turned up abandoned at 5:45 p.m. the day after she disappeared at Russell's Restaurant in the 600 block of West Point Boulevard. The restaurant was closed for remodeling at that time. The van was spattered with mud on the outside and blood-soaked on the inside. A large amount of blood was also found at the storage unit in West Salina, where she loaded up her merchandise every day to go stock the stores. There's no sign of her either place, and she's never been heard from again. People speculate someone attacked Catherine when she went inside the storage unit. It appeared they interrupted her in the process of loading the merchandise in her van, leaving the door of the unit open. Catherine was separated from her husband at that time, or at the time of her disappearance, and she had a teenage daughter who's obviously now an adult. Her case remains unsolved and foul play is suspected. And another footnote was one of the articles I read stated the police did question her husband and was able to eliminate him as a suspect in her case. So with that being said, if you have any information regarding Catherine's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477 or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637, or go to www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or call the KBI at 785-296-4017, or you can call the 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to help get her located, get her back to where she needs to be. And again, any information you have, no matter how small or minute or unimportant, please get that in. It may be something really big that they need. So do call it in, please.
D4 is talking about Haley Davis. She says, why was she going to Wichita? I'm using AI, so again, take this with a grain of salt. But I asked AI to check the internet for forums that are public where people can make comments, and I asked it to check public forums, and it only goes up till July 21st, 2023. So I don't have anything after that. But it did say, based on forums out there, the theories that are out there is she was either heading to Wichita to just meet friends or somebody she had just met. She also might have been going there to look for a job, it says. And then it says there's also people saying that she was just there attending an event or addressing private matters. But it seems like the information is very vague on why she went to Wichita. Yeah.
Well, she was accompanied by a male, so I don't know. Elle says some people do not understand the importance of any small tip. It can make a difference. Yep. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be, somebody might think it might be small or insignificant and turn it into the police, and it could be something huge. I mean, it could be a huge piece that they've been looking for that they need. Yeah. So, yeah, it's important to call it in, even though you think it's small. Call it in anyway.
I'm not a detective, but I've tried to find out stuff about cases around my hometown. And I'll have conversations. I've been digging into this stuff for a decade, and then somebody will just say something that they think is so insignificant, it just makes my head explode because it makes a bunch of other stuff make sense. That one little piece is usually a puzzle piece that will solve, maybe not solve, but definitely give them, get the cops way closer than they are currently. So I agree. I think if you know any type of information at all, you got to turn that in 100%. Double T wants to know if her husband was cleared.
Yeah, he was cleared. One article I read that I had dug up when I was researching her case stated in the article that he was questioned and he was cleared. So,
and then D first talking about the male that was with Haley. She thinks he knows something.
That's possible if they could identify who he was. I've never heard whether he'd been identified or not. So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Alex LaRussa.
Another perplexing Salina case. Missing since December 8th, 2017. Was 25 when he was missing. He's now 32. 6'2", 175 pounds. Black hair, brown eyes. Last contact he had with his family was at 4 o'clock in the morning on December 8th. He is wheelchair bound as his left leg is amputated above the knee. He was driving. The vehicle he was driving was found on a farm in New Cambria, Kansas, in northeast Saline County. His cell phone, his clothing, his wheelchair were found in the vehicle, among other items. And he was 25 when he went missing. He'd now be 32, 6'2", 175 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Has a tattoo on the left side of his neck that says pain, a tattoo of the number 13 on the right side of his chest, and a star on the left side of his chest. If you have any information regarding Alex's disappearance, you know of his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210. Or KBI at 785-296-4017, or 800-572-7463, or you can call Crime Stoppers anonymously at 785-825-8477. And also, if you want to try to keep all that anonymous, there's also this SA Tips to Crimes 274637, or www.pd.salina.org, and you can follow the Crime Stoppers link that way also. There's plenty of ways to get your information in. So, please, again, call it in. Anything that would help bring them home.
I asked ChatGPT. I didn't realize that the one leg thing was pretty new to him.
Yeah.
Says he had an accident. So there's no information. Well, there's no information on what exactly happened. But it was in maybe July 2017, a significant injury that caused an amputation, and that's why he moved from Great Bend to Salina.
Yeah. Yep.
We've been covering that case for 5 years. I never knew that he was I don't know. I assumed like an idiot that he had maybe been in a wheelchair his whole life, but no, that's pretty new.
It was recent. Yeah.
That's a lot. And I always say, well, how far is he going to get? He always being reliant on a wheelchair it was so new to. I mean, I don't know that. That's just way I didn't realize that. It's wild.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think in the case of Megan Fogelsong, I think there might be people that might know, but might have been afraid of David Madden and afraid to say something. kind of speculated too that maybe, David Madden may have killed his. I don't know this to be true. It's just something I've been speculating and thinking about for a long time. I was wondering if he may have killed his dad because maybe his dad knew maybe what happened to her and was worried that his dad was going to come out with it and he didn't want it known. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, it's just a guess, speculation, just something I'd been thinking about. Because why else would he want to kill his dad? I mean, I don't know.
Back down to 145 missing kids.
Okay. It's always nice when they're found. Yeah, he doesn't have his wheelchair. He was in the vehicle out on somebody's farm, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Seems like the number of adults keeps going up too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Another Solana case that's, I don't know if you want to call it near and dear to my heart or what, but just one that's really had me thinking a lot about it because it happened not too far from where I was living at that time. This is Nellie Mae Hubbard. Her case is still unsolved for 43 years, getting ready to come up on 44 years here in about 9 days. Happened on March 14th, 1981. Nellie was found deceased in her residence at 1008 East Elm Street. On the cot, she slept on in her living room. She was covered with a sheet, and the scarf she usually wore was found on the floor. And when they went to move her body, after police got in there investigating, and they went to move her body, they found that cigarette lighter at the top of the flyer there. This says vote. It was a special one that was released for a primary election. I think it was 1980 primary elections, part of a set. That was found under her body. She didn't smoke and have a reason to have a lighter. Nellie did put up a struggle during her attack. She died of asphyxiation. She also suffered 8 broken ribs. One was broken in 2 places. She also had a broken bone in her throat, which I'm guessing is the hyoid bone, I would imagine. Also had an injury to the back of her skull. Also had bruises on her arms, and there was evidence of other internal injuries. Upon searching Nellie's home, investigators found $93,000 in cash and over $100,000 in certificates of deposits and a large quantity of silver coins dating back to 1886. They also found rationing tokens from World War II and some tokens for city bus transit for here in Salina that no longer exists and hasn't for a very, very long time. Investigators also discovered that Nellie's home was filled with miscellaneous household items, trash, and other clutter that made 2 bedrooms completely unusable. Nellie does deserve to be able to rest in peace. Let's see what we can do to bring her killer to justice. If you have any information regarding her murder, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274-637. Or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip, or call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 and see what we can do to get some justice for Nellie and any of her surviving relatives that she may have or friends that she may have had at that time. And hopefully I can land a better picture of her, because all I could find was those 2 that I cropped out of a article about her, and one was a picture on the one on the left is her graduation picture from nursing school in the mid-20s, and the other one is a 1975 birthday photo when she was 77. So hopefully I can find something better. I've been trying, I've been calling places, sending emails, and so far nothing.
So I asked ChatGPT. Let me see here. Let me see. Did your flyer say anything about the brick through the glass rear door?
No, but that is true. That the killer apparently gained entry through throwing a brick through the back door.
That's not on your flyer.
No.
Okay.
I need to add that.
And it says that it's theorized she confronted the intruder, leading to a struggle where she was thrown to the floor and strangled.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. It says Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas were questioned about her.
Yeah,
her
Otis Toole and Henry Lee Lucas. They were a pair of serial killers that basically traveled the country supposedly killing people, and they claimed over 100, but they were also confessing to a lot of stuff that they didn't do just because they were trying to be the most notorious serial killers in the country. but they did question them and determined that they were not involved. So they even sent investigators to Florida to talk to Otis Toole, because at that time Henry Lee Lucas, I think, was being held in Texas. So yeah, kind of an interesting little twist to it. And, Otis Toole trying to enter. They said apparently they picked up a hitchhiker in the Kansas City area and dumped her in Headyville, which investigators assumed to mean Headville, but he called it Headyville. But there's never been any record of any body being found in Headville. So I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like the only picture it looks like that's online is the ones you found, and then her tombstone.
Yeah, and there's no picture on her tombstone of her either.
No,
and the only relative that I knew of
that
that she had was her brother, and I think he's long deceased, and her husband passed in 1967, the year I was born. So
yeah,
that's kind of ouch. But according to that article, the pictures up there were submitted by family members, and I wouldn't even begin to know what family member they could have got them from. But if I could land a picture, even that one of her from the birthday party, that would even be a good one if I could land a better color one, because I'd love to have a better one so people have a better idea what she looked like.
So she has, well, this is back then, 2 nieces, Miss Doris Hall Lincoln and Miss Ethel Swinton, and then 3 nephews: Ray Wolford, Abilene, Ray Wolford, Warren Wolford, and Roger Wolford. Maybe try reaching out to them.
What was the last one? Ray, Warren, and what? Richard?
Yeah, Ray, Warren, and Roger.
Oh, Roger. Whoops.
Yeah.
Roger Wolford.
Yeah, and then the nieces were Doris Hall, Ethel Swinton, and then
Ethel Swinton. Swenton.
Swin.
Oh, Oops. Okay. Maybe I can land and track down one of the nephews. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows, man? Might be worth a shot.
Yeah, that's 5 leads. Maybe. Okay, another Salina case. Gina Cyphers. I purposely grouped the Salina, Kansas cases together because I've said it time and time again, and I'll say it time and time again, that I don't feel like Salina cases get enough attention in the media or by law enforcement on their Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, or X. And I just feel like they need to be put out there. So that's why I do this. This is Gina Bridget Cyphers. She was 24 years old at the time. She had an infant son. By all accounts, she was a loving mother and a good person. December 28, 1995, Gina dropped off her 15-month-old son at a daycare program called Morning Out for Moms at a Salina church. When she didn't return a couple hours later, the daycare called Gina's boyfriend at work. He went to the mobile home they shared, and he found Gina brutally murdered. Her son was suddenly without a mother, and police were left with a case that has proven to be a tough one, which here again, this was back in 1995, and it's still unsolved, so it's been a tough one. It was a crowded mobile home park over on the west part of town on Cloud Street with trailers that were close together. The violence happened sometime between 9 o'clock and noon. Still, all these years later, Gina Cyphers' murder remains unsolved. Initial newspaper reports said she was stabbed. The police are still keeping a lot of details secret. Of course, if you look at the playing card in the lower right corner there, it says she was stabbed, strangled, and possibly sexually assaulted. So some other information has come out. They have said that there have been a lot of leads that have gone nowhere. If you have any information on Gina's death, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210. Or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477. Or text SA Tips to Crimes 274-637. Or go to www.pd.salina.org. Follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit your tip there. Or you can call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. There is a governor's reward of $5,000 available for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Gina's death. So again, anything you have, no matter how small, call that in. Let the police know what it is, because it may help them out. Yep. Yeah, another comment down. It's strange they didn't take any of Nellie's money. Yeah, that's definitely strange. $93,000 in cash. And one article I read said it was stashed in tin cans around the house. Is what I read in one article. So it wasn't like all in one place. It was in tin cans stuck in various places around her house. Why she chose to do that, I don't know.
Let's see.
But 93,000 in cash and over 100 grand in certificates of deposit. That's a lot. In the neighborhood she lived in, the houses are kind of older houses. It's not like an upper class neighborhood. It's just, middle class neighborhood. Houses weren't in the best condition, but she was a property owner. She owned some farms and some other rentals. And from what I was reading, she would take care of a lot of the maintenance on the places herself, which I thought was interesting for a woman her age, but she did what she could do herself. And they said the clothing that she wore, for the most part, was tattered and worn. And one person said Nellie dressed like Nellie. That's how they put it. So, yeah, when she was outside, she'd say hi to anybody and everybody that walked by her, was out in their yards next door or whatever. She'd say hi to everybody. So, she was a friendly little old lady, but when people wanted to help her, she a lot of times refused help just because she was a very independent woman. So, see what we can do to help. Obviously, she must, because she put up a heck of a fight for her age. So, she must have been a very strong woman.
ChatGPT says these are just scrolling through like web sleuths and stuff. Some forums suggest that Gina may have known her attacker, as there were no signs of forced entry in her residence. This theory possessed that she willingly allowed the perpetrator inside, indicating familiarity. And it says also, given the nature of the crime, some speculate that Gina's murder could be the work of a serial offender targeting women in the area during that period. This theory draws parallels with other unsolved cases in the region, though no concrete connections have been established. Was there any other women of that age and like maybe her description that were attacked or killed during that time frame? Or
no, of course there was Catherine Edmond, 93, but she was shot as they found bullet fragments out on the ground there at the storage unit. Trying to think. There was another older lady. I'm trying to remember what year she was murdered. Mildred Hawk. Maybe my brother can help me out with that real quick. Trying to think when she was murdered. She was attacked in her home. She was raped, and I guess when she crawled across the driveway to try to get help, she collapsed and died of a heart attack in the driveway of her house. And that's still an unsolved case as well. And that was when I had trouble getting a picture of it. And I finally got one from her brother, who was supplied by a family member of hers. So that was 1987, October 31st on Halloween night. Yeah. And that one's still an unsolved case as well. But I kind of trying to think of it's the 87, that was 95. It was an 8-year time span there. It's hard to say, it really is. She was attacked in her home, much like Beverly Logan, and she was, Beverly Logan was murdered in, 2008. So sometime later down the road, but she was attacked in her kitchen in her home too. Much like Nellie, she was, her killer gained entry through the back door into the kitchen. So
who knows, man?
Don't know.
Down another one, 144 missing children, still 356 adults, but climbing down.
Yeah. That's good. I wonder if it's any of the ones that we're going to cover tonight. That'll be interesting to find out. Let's see here. Oh, they're down here. Okay. This is Nicole Horde. She was last seen by her parents in Salina, Kansas in August of 2007. On October 18, 2008, 2 deer hunters discovered skeletal remains in a wooded area near the Republic River in Cloud County, Kansas, about 1.5 miles northwest of Concordia. The area is just west of U.S. Highway 81. In late October 2008, the Cloud County Sheriff's Office announced the dental records were used to identify the remains as Nicole Horde. Sheriff's Office has never divulged any further details, such as the suspected manner of death, time of death, whether any weapons were found near the body or how or if the remains were clothed. Despite this, Nicole's death is being investigated as a homicide. Nicole had been a student at Salina Central High School. She withdrew from school in February 2007. Her friends say shortly after that, Nicole moved to Concordia to live with a boyfriend. She did not maintain a close relationship with her family, but did occasionally communicate with friends online after she moved. According to a 2008 media report, Nicole's parents did not report her missing because police had already been looking for her. She had a warrant for her arrest issued in May 2007 after she failed to appear for the third of 15 consecutive weekends that she had been ordered to spend in Saline County Juvenile Detention Center. She was ordered to serve the time after pleading guilty to disorderly conduct charge. After spending her second weekend locked up, Nicole told her parents that she couldn't stand it anymore, and according to her mother, she bolted and ran away. They last saw her in August of 2007. On November 3rd, 2010, agents with the KBI, along with the Cloud County Sheriff's deputies and Concordia police officers, began searching a mobile home and property owned by Concordia resident Chuck Robbins at 443 East 1st in a neighborhood a few hundred yards east of the U.S. Highway 81 overpass in North Concordia. Robbins gave authorities permission to search the property, including the mobile home, which he converted into a storage building. The Cloud County attorney said the property was being searched in relation to Nicole's murder, but they would not say specifically why the property was being searched, only that there's obviously going to be something in there that we're looking for. 10 days later, on November 13th, 2010, a search dog from Wichita that specialized in searching for signs of human blood, decomposition, and bones made indications or hits on the property. The Cloud County attorney would not comment on what exactly was found, only saying that it may add another piece to the investigation. If you have any information regarding Nicole's death, please call the Cloud County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-243-3636 or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 or 785-296-8200. See if we can't get some justice for Nicole and her family, because it's been quite a long time. So let's see what we can do.
All right, you're watching Kansas Missing Unsolved. We'll be right back after this.
Part 2. Endangered Runaways, Young Lives at Risk, Stories that Demand Attention, and a Race Against Time. Together we can make a difference.
Okay. This is one that's been missing quite some time. We've covered a case in the past and wanted to cover it again. And I know her flight. There it is. Bonita Jaden Wallace, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since October 11th, 2022. She's 15 when she was missing. She's now 17, 5'5", 130 pounds. Her hair's brown and last known to be dyed black and red, like you see on the two right-hand pictures there. And she has brown eyes. It's believed that she may still be in the Kansas City, Wyandotte County, Kansas area. When she was 15 years old when she went missing. She's now 17, 5'5", 130 pounds. Time of her disappearance, her brown hair was dyed black and red. The red had faded, and the underside of her hair was shaved, and she had brown eyes. She has a small tattoo of two small black triangles on her upper right arm and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. She was last seen wearing a pink and blue hoodie and blue jeans at the time of her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Bonita's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see what we can do to get Bonita located and back home to where she needs to be. I was going through my Facebook news feed earlier today and noticed a post. Her dad is still putting up posts trying to get her found as well. And I reached out to him to make contact. I haven't heard from him yet, but I'm hoping to. But he's still very much looking for her. So let's see what we can do to help him get her found and back to where she needs to be.
Danielle King.
Yeah, this is one out of Topeka. Danielle King missing since March 4th, 2025. So since yesterday, she's 15, 5'6", weighs between 180 and 200 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. Her hair is long. She was last known to be wearing a hoodie, possibly cream in color, and blue jeans. I saw a post that her mom put up a little while ago before the show stating that she's believed to be with a male about her age. Supposedly she's going there to stay with him and her mom. So I'm not sure what part of town that's in, but if anybody has any information regarding Danielle's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Danielle located and back home to where she needs to be.
A lot of youngsters.
Yeah. This is another Olathe, Kansas case. Chloe Aldridge, missing from Olathe, Kansas since yesterday, March 4th, 2025. She's 13, 5'5", 150 pounds, red or auburn hair, brown eyes. She went missing at approximately 4:06 p.m. She was last seen leaving in an Uber near the area of the 20,300 block of West 151st Street in Olathe. Her direction of travel is believed to possibly be to an undisclosed location in Oak Grove, Missouri. She is listed as endangered due to her age. Again, she's 13, 5'5", 150 pounds, has red hair and brown eyes. She has a diamond nose piercing and a butterfly tattoo on her right forearm. She was last seen wearing a black t-shirt and black sweatpants. If you have any information regarding Chloe's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Department at 913-971-6363 or the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Chloe located and back to where she needs to be. My younger daughter, hey Dad, dropping in late, hanging out with friends. That's cool. And there's a Hutchinson, Kansas case.
Wish I had friends.
This is Oasis Swearingen, missing from Hutchinson, Kansas since January 11th, 2025. She's 17, 5 foot tall, 130 pounds, red or auburn hair, brown eyes. It's believed she may still be in the local Hutchinson area or she may be in the Topeka, Kansas area. And she's 17, 5 foot tall, 130 pounds, red or auburn hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Oasis's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Hutchinson, Kansas Police Department at 620-694-2816 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can get Oasis located and back to where she needs to be. Yep, so many very young ones. It definitely sad, and yeah, absolutely heartbreaking. I agree with both. Just crazy. This is Lamont Outland. He is missing from Wichita, Kansas since November 29th of 2024. He's 16, 6 foot tall, 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. Don't have anything more than that. So if you have any information regarding Lamont's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can get Lamont located and back to where he needs to be. It's been a few months now. Let's see what we can do to get him found.
All right, we got 3 flyers left. Thanks for hanging out tonight. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved. I'll be right back after this.
Part 3, Out-of-State Cases. Beyond Kansas borders, stories of the lost and the unsolved remind us that every missing voice deserves to be heard.
I'm just noticing we got a new feature here on StreamYard. Over on the left-hand side of my screen, I see this Demo Scene 1, Demo Scene 2.
You can minimize that. There's a little tab to the right of those. You can just minimize
I see
that.
it.
That's what I did.
I see it. Okay.
I don't. I'm sure it's cool, but I haven't dove into. I'll have Kent tell me what it is.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, this is Rochelle Elizabeth Hammond. She's missing from Moscow, Colorado since August 15th, 2019. 30 when she was missing. She's now 35. 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from a Moscow, Colorado home. She left all of her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her car, her computer, her tools, and her pet dog. Rochelle had only been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She'd previously lived in the Columbus, Ohio area. She may be homeless. Although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes that she did not leave of her own accord and may have become a human trafficking victim. She does suffer from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which she also left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "Live like a lion" on her upper chest, a star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos. And you can see some of them in the pictures there. Excuse me. Rochelle was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can't get her found and back to where she needs to be. Sorry about that. That's when your throat dries out. Yeah, there's those dunes. It's hard to believe that Muska, Colorado has dunes. It doesn't, to me, it just sounds contradictory to have dunes in the mountains. Who knows? And Dana Bruce. Another one we've covered quite a bit. Let's see. He's missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. 23 when she was missing. She's now 39. 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. She was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30 p.m. Police have identified the man Dana was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, she was 23 when she went missing. She'd now be 39, 5'2", 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. Last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. Dana has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 or Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see what we can do to help get Dana located and back to where she needs to be. I think we have one final one to go, I think.
Thank you. LFC saw me sneeze my face off, or maybe she heard it. I thought I muted.
And this is Mackenzie Marie Vaughn, missing out of Grandview, Missouri. Since March 1st of this year, she's 15, 5'4", 165 pounds, light brown hair that was dyed black and red, and hazel eyes. Her hair is quite long, as you can see. It's believed she does not have a cell phone with her. And she's 15, 5'4", weighs 160 pounds, has long, wavy, light brown hair that was last known to be dyed black with red tint and hazel eyes. The only description of clothing that I was able to get was that she was wearing a pink bonnet. So if you have any information regarding Mackenzie's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Grandview, Missouri Police Department at 816-316-4980, the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or 866-362-6422 and see what we can do to get her found and back to where she needs to be.
Good show, buddy.
Yeah. Except for my little coughing fit.
You coughed and I sneezed, so
You're welcome, Ellen. We're going to share Dana and Rochelle's flyers, hopefully until they're found. Hopefully we can help get them found.
yeah.
They need to be. It's been way too long. And you're very welcome, Defer. I tend to think that's not actually Defer's picture, is it?
Might be.
I don't know.
To the MILF mod squad, they're keeping the streets clean over here in the chat room.
Good deal. That's good because we get some pretty interesting comments from time to time.
They're real good at putting people in timeout if they say weird things.
I'm still getting irritated with these scammer comments that pop up on the flyers saying police have released a video of the disturbing situation with a news looking link, and I have to delete.
I'm glad that I'm seeing less and less of those fake missing people, like from just random town pages, like, oh, there's this kid just hanging out here at the gas station. Anybody? It's like, why would you put it on Facebook? Call 911. It's all fake, you know. I haven't seen one of those in a while, so I'm glad.
The new ones that I've been seeing is a male and female couple that are being described as serial killers, and they attack this person and that person, and they're believed to be in this town or that town, and basically it's a scam post, and all they're doing is they're changing up the couple's pictures, they're changing the names and changing the towns and reposting it, but it's scams too. It's just another one going around.
Yeah.
So if you guys see those, again, there's been plenty of police departments that didn't have debunked that, saying we don't have any active cases like that in our areas. Dodge City, Kansas was one of them that got one of those circulated on them for a while. Yeah, all those scams make me mad too. It's like irritating.
All scams are awful, but to use that kind of, use that like missing people or homicide, that's weird, man. That's a weird way to scam people.
I just wish I knew what kind of scam it was. Those comments are they're trying to do with those comments, and with the news looking link saying the police have released body cam footage of the incident.
I don't know anything about computers really, but my guess is they're banking on your followers clicking it because it's clickbait, and then it just infests whatever device they're on with some kind of malware.
Yeah, probably. So whatever you do, if you see this kind of comments on any of the flyers before I can delete them, do not click on them whatsoever.
You should actually just make a public post that says, hey, do not click on any links.
Oh, I need to reshare it. I have it. I actually screenshotted a bunch of those and put them together as one big picture and say, if you see any comments that look like these
I would share that once a week for a while, man, because you don't want your followers to get their computers screwed up.
Yeah, that's another one going around. It's a scam text saying that you owe money for a toll.
I got that, and I thought it was half real, so I just blocked the number. I was like, I'm not paying you.
I know. That's been another one. I've seen a lot of people posting that one on Facebook. I'm like, oh, brother, here's another one. I wouldn't answer that either, because chances are you send them the information or whatever they want, they're probably going to clean out your bank account.
Me and Steph got robbed Wednesday morning. Tuesday morning. I don't know. One of the Monday or Tuesday. I got a text from my bank asking if I spent like $1,000 at Walmart.com, and I was like, no. So I went to the bank, and they only ended up getting like $70. And the bank's trying to get it back to me, and then somebody tried to get like $2,000 worth of stuff from Walmart.com from Stephanie's debit card from the same bank.
Oh man!
And we have our cards. No, they must have got them online or something, but
can't show her real picture because she's undercover.
Yeah, all we can say about Defer is where she lives. She lives on 8 Mile in Detroit.
That's cool. I understand that, though. I mean, if you're trying to be sneaky and keeping people in line, you don't want to know who you really are.
Well, I think also what I've learned on YouTube is there's some people that are they'll dox you. They'll say your real name. They'll say your address. They'll drive by your house. Yeah, weird stuff. If you ever find yourself driving by a YouTuber's house, stop yourself.
Yeah, I know, right? Says we're all undercover.
Yeah. The USPS, like, hey, we have a package that got intercepted because you have to. I'm like, nah, whatever it is.
I get those on my spam emails about FedEx packages, USPS packages, iPhone that I supposedly order, which I will never own an iPhone. Never, ever. No. No offense to anybody that has an iPhone, but in my personal opinion, I think they're overrated and overpriced.
Well, you're a hater, first of all. Second of all, I like my iPhone, but yeah, I get it, man. It's
Well, I mean, I
I
was
don't
looking
think
at.
you're getting anything special with it.
I'm thinking about replacing this phone because it's having some issues recently, and as you can see, it's Motorola.
Mm.
And I was looking on Walmart's because it's a straight talk through Walmart. So I was looking through their phones, and they've got like some straight talk iPhones that are like anywhere from $600 up to $1,300. I'm like, I am not paying that much for a phone. No,
Yeah,
ain't happening. Ain't happening. My daughter has one of the older iPhones, and she's switching.
my son Doc switched to a Samsung. He likes it a lot. I tried a Google Pixel phone for 2 years when we were in Phoenix, and that's
What
like
is it?
pretty similar to an iPhone, and it ended up crapping out towards the end. So the only reason I use iPhone is because I've used iPhone since probably 2011, minus that 1-2 year period. I've used iPhone, and I'm not smart enough to figure out anything else. Like I'm too far in.
Well, my thing is every time they put out a new iPhone, I notice something pops up saying,
Ricky, your mic's muted. Your mic's muted, Ricky. Hello. You're muted. You're muted. Are we gonna
there
get
we
you?
go.
All right, there we go. There we go.
Sorry about that. Anyway, my issue though is every time they put out a new iPhone, eventually you'll see an article saying, well, this new iPhone has this kind of an issue, so a patch had to be sent out to fix it, and usually pertains to data, being able to steal data off the phone. So I'm like,
Yeah. I get it,
So,
man.
yeah.
Texas Panhandle girl. She's an iPhone girl. I'm an iPhone girl myself. LC's an iPhone girl. DF's not crazy about her iPhone.
Yeah. As like I said, I got a Motorola, and I think I'm gonna stay with Motorola because I've had pretty good luck with Motorola so far.
I'll show you this though. This is how over having a phone I am, dude. Can you see? Yeah, so I'm gonna show you. Look at how many mixed. Look at my missed texts and calls.
Oh my goodness,
That's because I
me.
just. Well, I just don't. I just can't do it, man. I can't do it, bro. I can't do that. Like it's all. Well, first of all, I bet you. Okay, how many do I have? 218 text messages that I haven't opened.
Right.
I bet you 206 of them are just like we were talking about earlier. I just get them and I'm just like, and I just don't. So, and then the calls, man, my phone's been on silent since like forever. So I've gotten to where I was somebody who loved the internet when it happened. I loved it. Now I'm getting to the point where I'm more reclusive and I don't want to be bothered at all. I don't want anybody messaging me or usually if somebody calls me, I'm just like, who I don't even know who it is. I'm just like, oh, what do you want? Because I don't know. I'm starting to get back to where I just want a phone that's attached to the wall, even with a cord, and that's the only way you can get a hold of me if I'm standing by that phone.
Right. And I'm getting word now. I'm trying to verify it, but I'm getting word that Danielle King may have been located because I just saw a comment pertaining to that particular fact. So I'm going to verify that. See if she's been removed from the database.
Well, there was 145 kids missing. It's been now there's 144, so somebody was found.
So let me look on the database here. This is what I'm doing right now. She has been removed from the database. So Danielle apparently has been located safe.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear. I always like to hear located safe.
I'm kind of with Christopher Hughes. I don't know about an answering service, but an answering machine.
I miss those.
I remember that. I'm just old enough to have had an answer. The best answering machine thing I ever got was, I forget what year, probably 2000. 2008 or 9. I don't know. No, 5. I don't know. 2005. I don't know. Long time ago, Ricky. And
Cool.
I came home and there was a voicemail on my answering machine. I went and clicked it, and it was my brother Ian, and he was freaking out. He's like, "Hey," and he was at my mom's house or something. He's like, "Hey," he was in Elkhart, Kansas, where I'm sitting. He's like, Jerry Seinfeld's eating breakfast in Elkhart. I gotta go. And he just hangs out. And I was like, what? It was like 2005. And Jerry Seinfeld was like on a road trip with a couple of buddies that he went to college with or something like that, or just buddies he was friends with back in the day. And they were in this crappy, I mean, it ran, but it was like an old like Volkswagen van. And they were just for fun. He said that they were going from LA to New York, and instead of flying, they decided to like drive an old Volkswagen van. And before the internet, I mean, the internet was there, but there was no Facebook or MySpace or anything. Somehow, everybody in Elkhart found out that Jerry Seinfeld was at the restaurant. So a mob shows up, and so my buddy Forrest, I've interviewed him a bunch of times on my channel. He owned the restaurant. He walks over to Jerry Seinfeld, and he's like, "What do you want to do, man?" He's like, "There's a mob outside." And Jerry was just like, "Just tell everybody that if they'll just pretend like I'm not a celebrity until I eat my eggs," he's like, "just let me have my breakfast and some coffee." He's like, "I'll stay in this town long enough to sign every autograph if I have to." He's like, "Just treat me like a normal person for 25 minutes so I can eat my breakfast." So Forrest went outside and told everybody, and everybody in our town just quit looking at. They were all outside. He locked Jerry inside with his buddies, and they got to eat alone. And then Jerry went outside and just signed autographs for God knows how long.
Wow,
but,
that was cool.
That was an answer. Now, let me check that, dude. I bet you, who knows, bro? Like, it's just, I'm so over the fact of any human being besides my children. 101 voicemails, Ricky.
Wow.
There's a bunch from you.
Are there?
There's one.
Oh, wow.
I've never heard it though. Hopefully it wasn't urgent what you needed.
I can't even remember.
Oh man. I don't know, man. The older I get, the more I'm very disconnected from my phone.
That was kind of like a situation here. It happened here in town, and I can't remember what year it was, but I was working at Sears full time and Walden Books part time. And I can't remember which one I was off. I think I was off from Sears that day, and I worked at Walden Books that night. I think it was. And my brother called me. He worked at Kmart at the time, and he called me and he said, "My assistant manager's wife just called and said Alice Cooper was in the mall." And I'm like, "What? Alice Cooper was in the mall?" So I grabbed my only Alice Cooper cassette tape I have. I grabbed it, my Sharpie, my camera, and went flying out the door. Went out to the mall, and I talked to some security guards that I knew from working at Walden Books. So yeah, you missed him by about 30 minutes. And I was like, shoot. So I left the mall, and I thought, okay, well, if he's out on this end of town, there's hotels out this end of town. I'm going to look around for a bus. So I took off, and I started driving down 9th Street going south, and thought, okay, Hampton Inn, that's the closest one to the interstate. So I went down there, didn't see nothing. So I thought, okay, maybe the Holodome, because it was still the Holodome at that time. Hopped the interstate, started heading north on the interstate, and I looked down by Country Inn and Suites, and there sits a bus. I'm like, oh, crap. So I pull off Magnolia and pull back around to Country Inn and pull in, and I pull up and park, and so I'm getting out of my car and starting to walk up. I hear this, hey, and I look over, and it's the guy that was head of our security at Sears. And he apparently knew Alice Cooper, and he was bringing him a bag of golf tees because Alice, I guess, likes to play golf. But we were walking in the hotel, and I started to walk by Alice, and Mark's like, there he is right there. I'm like, oh. And he was and another guy was trying to get his autograph, and he was just fiercely trying to bite the cellophane off the CD. So I had to stand there and wait for a few minutes, but I did get my autograph, and I got a picture taken with him. And it was actually Alice Cooper's daughter that took the picture of me with him. And then I took a picture of him and his daughter. And then I was telling him, I said, news like you being in town travels fast. And he said, yeah. So my brother called me from Kmart and told me about it. He says, where is Kmart anyway? And I gave him directions how to get there, and he went. And he walked right by my brother, and my brother didn't realize it till it was too late. Yeah. Then I found out later that night, him and his daughter tried to take in a movie at the movie theaters out the mall, and they had to get security to get him out of there because people wouldn't leave him alone and let him watch the movie, which I felt bad for him. And then a little bit later, I saw their bus at the McDonald's across the street from the mall. So it's crazy.
I used to really love going up to celebrities when I was a kid and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the older I get, man, like I think if I saw a celebrity, I think I would. I don't even think I would make eye contact with them because, like, I think I would feel so guilty. I'd be like, man, they just want to hang. They just want to be normal,
Right. I still do once in a while. I don't do it like I used to do it because me and a friend of mine, we'd go all over the place. And the first thing we'd do when we got to whatever town we were going to is, okay, let's hit the hotels and look for buses. That's what we would do. And if we'd find a bus, we'd like sit out by the bus or we'd chill in the lobby and see who's going to walk by us or whatever. And like I said, I don't do that anymore. I do the formal stuff. Like a couple of weeks, I'm planning on being in Wichita at the Comic-Con, and they got the guy that played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th Part 6 going to be there, and Kane from WWE is going to be there. Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart's going to be there. Matt Riddle's going to be there. So I'm really wanting to go down for that. I'm planning on going down for that because I wanted, especially when I had CJ Graham in my collection.
Yeah.
So that's going to be cool. I'm going to have fun.
I'm with Christopher. Christopher, if you screen my calls, I'll screen your calls. How about that? We'll be each other's assistants. I'll you get me, I'll get you. Such great news that she was found.
Interesting. Safe. I just saw an interesting comment. Where did I see
What's
it?
That?
Right there.
No way.
Deeper says Texas. No way. Actually, I knew that already because he told me. Huh. That's cool. I'd like to meet Dog the Bounty Hunter. That would be so cool. His bus was actually in Salina one time when we still had the Kansas Buffet Company out in front of the mall before they tore it down and put a car wash there. And I was working in the mall that day and I couldn't get out there, but I really wanted to. Man, I wanted to because I like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
So my mod, one of the Milfy mods is a direct descendant of Dog the Bounty Hunter.
That's cool.
One of my favorite meme to share of all time because it's so relatable. It's that meme of Dog sitting in his car, and then the tagline, it says, whenever somebody's having a meltdown and you don't know what to do, and it's just Dog, and he says, "You want a cigarette?"
Mm-hmm. I think it's cool that Ozzy did his opening theme for their show. Oh, that was cool.
Oh, Texas. Tell your grandpa if he does my show, I'll buy it. He probably doesn't smoke anymore. I love Dog the Bounty Hunter. Rest in peace, Beth. She was the ultimate lady on TV that I had a crush on for many years. I love Dog the Bounty Hunter. Great show.
Oh, Texas says no, it's a joke. We're making fun of someone else who claims to have a famous grandpa and doesn't.
Oh, damn it. I was hoping my mod. I was so excited. I was like, Texas, tell your grandpa.
Man,
I'll actually answer it this time.
Man, that's cool.
I didn't know that. Well, my grandpa was Barack Obama, so I get it.
The only thing I can claim to fame too. Me and my brother had a cousin. Well, have a cousin. He's still living. That played with the Dallas Texans pro football team, and before they moved up to Kansas City and became the Kansas City Chiefs. He started in '62, played until '67. Then he played a year in Miami. Then he retired. Now he's a top 10 defense attorney down in Dallas, Texas, and he's still practicing in his 80s.
No way.
Yeah. His name's Frank Jackson. I've never met him. That's the funny part. He's my second cousin. Never met him.
Deefer is a descendant of President Trump.
I did write him a letter one time years ago and sent him one of his football cards that I had and still have, and he sent it back signed for me. So I thought that was cool. But his name's Frank Jackson. He's, like I said, he's like one of the top 10 defense attorneys in Dallas. So
really?
Yeah.
My birth father, he's been in a bunch of movies. He's a B actor. I think he's had like one talking role, but he was in this Stephen King movie. For real.
Yeah. Frank moved up to Kansas City with the team when they became the Chiefs and played with them until '67. But he started out with the Chiefs when they were still the Dallas Texans. But anyway, what you were saying?
You ever seen this Stephen King movie, The Dark Half?
I haven't. I think I had the book at one time, but I've never seen the movie.
So if you watch the movie, there's a scene where he like goes into his apartment. He has these cops that are like watching guard. I don't even know. It's like, I don't know. It's a weird movie. It's a Stephen King book. But anyway, when the guy goes to the bathroom to like double check his apartment, there's two cops in his shower that are dead. There's a white guy and a Mexican guy that looks Italian. The Mexican guy that looks Italian is my dad. And the white guy is some famous radio morning DJ from Pittsburgh back in the early 90s. But That was like what's funny is me and my dad was in a bunch of movies when I was growing up. He was in a Forrest Whitaker movie for a while. He was like a bunch of scenes. That was the only way my brother saw my dad growing up. Actually, my kids have never met my dad. Like a few years ago, my brother was living with me, and we watched The Dark Half, and we paused it on that part, and then me and Ian stood in front of the TV with our children, and we like posted it on Facebook, like, here's a picture with Grandpa because he's never met our kids.
That's funny. Also, Derek for president.
Yeah, I do think that. I think I am going to run for sure.
Shoot, first thing you do is you sign an executive order to make Mary Jane legal across the country.
Mary Jane legal. I'm also going to make Ricky vice president for sure.
Oh, well. Okay.
He's going to have to squeeze in, make it. You can't stop making flyers just because you're running the country, though. You have to do both.
I'd still do it. Heck, I'd still do it.
Even if we're under attack, you have to make flyers first.
I've even said I'm not going to stop this until my services are no longer needed or God calls me home, whichever happens first.
Roxanne says her ex's cousin is Robert Stroud, Birdman. I got some votes here. I got 4 votes, 3 or 4 votes here. I think I'm good. I'm a shoe in.
That's cool.
Yeah. Ricky's actually met lots of celebrities. One of these days I'll let him show you guys all of his
yeah, to my left over here sitting on the shelf I've got 5 photo albums of pictures from going back to 1991. So yeah. It's fun. It's been a real fun ride. It really has. I mean, we're talking pro wrestlers, we're talking rock musicians, country musicians, actors, sports athletes. I mean, just all over the place. It's been fun. One of my favorite ones was Kane Hodder that played Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, part 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well, Jason X, if you want to call it that. But in 9, I call it Jason 9 instead of Jason Goes to Hell. But yeah, he was the only actor that ever played Jason in more than one movie. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. He did a Halloween spectacular thing down in Wichita one year, and he was only there on Halloween night. And I told my friend, I said, we have got to go that night. If he's only there that one night, gotta go. So we went. Actually, we went just about every night they had the Halloween spectacular because they had like Linda Blair from The Exorcist. They had Gunnar Hansen that played Leatherface in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was there. Bob Martin that did all the special effects in the movie FX was there. They called her a B Queen horror movie actress. Her name was Lindy Gabrielle. She was there. They were there all, every day of the event. Only Kane Hodder made the appearance on the last day, and I had to go. That was pretty fun. I have 2 pictures with him. One of them where I'm standing next to him, and the next one he's got his hands up around my throat.
I've seen that one. That's a good one.
It's cool. Can't wait to come see you and meet him. Oh, Eminem, yeah, because D first says her neighbor is Eminem.
Of course, yeah, Marshall Mathers, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Is he even still touring, rapping, whatever anymore?
Yeah, man. He's been doing. I mean, me and Stephanie. He has a new album that came out about a year ago, and me and Steph listened to it the other day. It was pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's one of those things that he's. I don't know. Like when somebody gets so good at something, it kind of gets boring, which is kind of the ultimate compliment. It's just like, bro, you're so insanely good at this that like I'm bored. Like I just know it's good, so I don't need to listen to. I don't know. Dude's massively talented. I don't know about like if he's the best or anything, but me and Stephanie will get on YouTube and watch like Eminem lyric videos where they just have the lyrics, and he talks so fast sometimes you don't know what he's saying. You read what he's saying, you're just like, oh wow.
Right.
That's interesting.
One of the ones that's high on my bucket list that I want to meet that I have yet to is Garth Brooks. We've tried 3 times and failed every time.
I think he's pretty protected, bro.
Now I've met Trisha Yearwood, the gal that he's married to. I've met her before.
Yeah.
I've been up on her tour bus. They let us come up on her bus to meet her, so I was able to actually go up on her bus.
Really?
So that was cool. Couldn't go any further than the top of the stairs, but
close enough.
Close enough. It was fun. And I've been on Billy Dean's bus. I've been on the Bellamy Brothers bus. Darren Norwood's bus. I've been on a few buses. Been on Brian Adams's bus. Cuts Like a Knife, summer of '69.
Yep.
Been on his bus. That was fun. So I've been up on a few buses over the years. That was all back in the '90s and stuff. '90s, early 2000s. The Bellamy Brothers' bus was the first bus that I was ever able to go on. It was up at the Concordia Fair in Concordia, Kansas, and we had ran into them at a restaurant there because they were performing at the Concordia Fair. And we waited till I got done eating, and we were talking to him and walking with him out to his bus. And I just made the off-the-cuff comments. I wonder what these buses look like on the inside, And he goes up on the bus and he turns, looks over his shoulder, he says, "Come on up." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So we did. That was fun. Brian Adams was cool. Yeah, he was. Only thing about Brian Adams, though, I don't know why, though, but when I had a picture taken with him, he's going like this. Instead of looking straight ahead, he's like, what is he doing? I guess he did it even worse when I took the picture of my friend with him, and he was furious. My friend was like, "Why did you take that?" So that's the way he did. I don't know why. So I don't know. It's crazy. I've been noticing buses popping up out here by Menards, that hotel by Menards where I work. I've been seeing buses pull in there. I don't know who they are, but I've seen a few. Got my little autograph juices going, who is that? Should I stop? Joe Walsh of the Eagles bus passed through Greensburg one time. That's cool. I heard one time that Garth Brooks going through Kansas on the interstate, his bus stopped at the truck stop out in Solomon out there, east of here. And I guess he signed autographs for everybody there. I heard about it later and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" How did I not find out about that? That sucks. Then I heard he had been out at our mall one time. He'd flown in. I guess he was flying and landed here because we have a big airstrip. And I guess his plane was having some issues and they were working on it. And while they were working on it, he came into town and was in the mall. And somebody heard him in one of the stalls in the men's room at the mall talking. And I'm like, dang it. I guess I'm just not supposed to meet Garth Brooks, I guess.
I think he's protected, man. I don't think he runs into many people he doesn't want to.
No, I've met his sister who used to play in his band for him. One time, one of the times we tried to meet him. Kane Brown's bus on I-80 this summer. That's cool. When I worked at a Boston's truck stop, I remember we had one of Winona Judd's semi trucks out there one time. Her bus wasn't out there, but the semi truck carrying the stuff was. Remember that? Now, Hal Ketchum, he come in the truck stop when I was working one time, and Sammy Kershaw did. And then on one night that I wasn't working, I wasn't scheduled to come in until 8 a.m, but overnight, Motley Crue had played here in town, and they were running around the truck stop after they got done with the show, and the gal that was working took Polaroids and gave me the Polaroids, and I've got them put up, but I still have those Polaroids, and that was between 90 and 95. So, yeah, I didn't know his sister Betsy passed away. I didn't know that.
Really?
I didn't know that. That's too bad.
I did not know that at all.
We never got a picture with her, but I did get her autograph real quick because there was a fence between us. But I didn't let that stop me when we met Poison behind the Kansas Coliseum when they did their show, because there was a big fence around the area where all the buses and stuff went. And so we stood back there and talked to him and stuff and got pictures and autographs and whatnot. And CeCe DeVille come out with a box of pizza and asked us if we wanted some pizza. I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he turned the box sideways and stuck it through the fence and gave us some pizza. So me and my brother munched on pizza on the way home.
No way.
That was cool. And Bret Michaels was cool.
He hooked it up with pizza. I love it.
Yeah. It was Papa John's pizza too. So we jumped on Papa John's pizza all the way home that night. That was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure who Kane Brown is. Who is Kane Brown? Pardon my naivety, but I'm not up on, if he's a musician, I'm not up on today's music too much. Yeah, back in 2013. Has it been 12 years? Oh my goodness. They were doing a concert. It was Enough's Enough, Poison, and Quiet Riot was the 3 bands playing that night. Oh, he's a hot country singer. I'll take your word for the hot part, but okay, country singer. Gotcha.
He's hot.
I'm not above meeting country singers. I mean, shoot, I've met so many. I could sit here for hours naming all the names off I've met. I mean, like Alan Jackson, Sammy Kershaw, and Alabama, and Confederate Railroad, and Restless Heart, and I'm trying to think of who else. Tanya Tucker, Willie Nelson twice. Both times here in town. He was doing shows here in town. Met him both times at the hotel. He was really cool. Probably one of the coolest ones I've ever met.
Really?
Oh yeah, he was awesome. The first time we were sitting out by the buses, and this guy pulls up in this little green car, and one of Willie's kids comes down off the bus about the time the guy pulls up, and the guy jumps out of his car. He says, "Hey, is Willie on the bus?" And his kid says, "Yeah." And says, "Well, can you tell him such and such is here?" And he says, "Well, if he's awake." And he turned around and went back up on the bus, and about a minute or so later, here he come with Willie, and the two guys hugged and stood there and chatted for a bit. And it was me and my brother and a friend of ours. We were sitting on the curb there. And after he got done talking to the guy, he just walked over to us, started signing and taking pictures with us. My brother said he was hired a kite the first time. I couldn't tell you if he was or not. I don't know what to look for and that kind of thing. But
yeah,
my brother says he was. And the second time, same hotel. It was the Holodome when it was still the Holodome. And his bus was back off in the corner in the back parking lot there. And we had just got there, and we were up at the front of the parking lot. And he comes down off the bus, hops up on a bicycle, and starts riding around the parking lot on a bicycle. And he just rolls right up to us. Yeah, it was cool. Oh yeah, I met the guy off Police Academy. Many Christmas. Winslow, I think is his last name. His name escapes me, but I met him too. He did a stand-up show here in town.
I remember that. Yeah,
met him afterwards. It was cool. What the heck was his name? Can't think of it. I can see his face, but I can't think of his name. He's a heck of a Michael Winslow. That's it. Thank you. Michael Winslow. Yeah, he's a heck of a guy. Well, he's still doing that stuff with the sound effects with his mouth. I can't believe it.
Yeah, that's nice, man. Well, bro, I gotta go to bed, man. I gotta get up early.
Yeah.
This is a heck of a show. Michael Winslow.
Yep. Y'all remember Saved by the Bell? Yeah, Screech did a stand-up show here in town after the Saved by the Bell thing was all said and done. He did a stand-up show. It used to be called JC's Bar and Grill, and that was called Speakeasy, but he was there. And my brother wants to meet Chevy Chase too. I wouldn't mind either. I heard he can kind of be not too friendly, but it was cool because Screech started. Dustin Diamond started off his show, and you got to remember there's all these kids there. Expect to see Screech, And Dustin Diamond starts off. He says, "I know you're expecting to see Screech. I hate to disappoint you, but I'm one bitter mother effer." And I was like, "Oh my god." It's like I'm one bitter MFer. I'm like, "Oh boy." That kind of set the pace for the show. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's all these kids sitting around and stuff. And I thought, oh man.
Was he funny?
Oh, he was funny, yeah. Yeah. Got my picture taken with him afterwards and got an autographed script from him and stuff like that. It was the script from the episode, The School Song. I still have that put up too, especially since now that he's gone.
Yeah.
Can't remember what cancer that was he passed from, but he didn't go to the hospital sooner because it was during the pandemic and he didn't want to go to the hospital and get exposed or whatever. So they were going to marry Zach. They got that big Comic-Con coming up in Kansas City. If I could afford it, I'd go to that one, but because they're going to have Elizabeth Berkley that played Jesse Spano and Mario Lopez that played AC Slater. They're going to be there. I wouldn't mind adding to my Saved by the Bell collection, but
yeah,
it's expensive. I checked on pricings like that. It's way out of my league. So I'm not going to that one. Anyway, that being said, thank you guys for joining us tonight. It was spectacular sitting here chatting with everybody and talking with everybody and reminiscing and let's see what we can do to help bring some of these folks home. Let's do what we can and get some justice for some folks whose lives have been cut short. and let's just do our best. With that being said, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight to cover these cases and get some people brought home. And thank you for bringing Danielle King home safe tonight. Greatly appreciate that. Just need the people to do the right thing. If you know something, say something, call it in, let law enforcement know so they can work on it and see if it's something they need. But, until we see each other again next week, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. God bless, and amen.
Amen.
Back Home Media.